If you're looking to create a set of financial projections for a multi-campus church, then you've come to the right place because we have built a financial model template, spreadsheet template here that is built specifically for a multi-campus church. And I'm going to walk you through how the template works, how to fill it out, and really do that step by step. Before I dive in too far, just a little bit about me. My name's Adam Huxema. I'm the co-founder of Projection Hub, and we help businesses, nonprofits, churches, for-profit businesses, startups, and kind of anything in between. We help folks create financial projections, and often that may be for a lender. Maybe you're doing a new building campaign and you're trying to get a loan from the bank and you need a set of projections. And that would be a perfectly reasonable request from the lender. And so that's what we're here to do, to try to help you present your financials in a way that would make sense for a lender. So I am going to put a link to this template in the description of the video below, so you can grab that link and then follow along that way and grab the template and then fill it out based on your own situation. And if you have any questions along the way, you can reach out to us at support@projectionhub.com. I'm also going to, if you stick around to the very end of the video, as a thank you for sticking around to the end, I'm going to give you access to a coupon code so you can get a discount on this particular template as our thank you for sticking around. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and dive into how this template works and how to fill it out. All right, so I'm starting here on our at a glance tab. And so this is kind of after you have filled out the model. This is some charts and graphs that you're going to be able to utilize. You're also going to get a 5-year statement of activities. Now, you're going to get a number of these. So the first one you're going to see is the consolidated statement of activities. So this is for every campus. This is for the whole consolidated church, right? And then you're going to see what we're calling central here. So this would be like if you have kind of a central operations, but it's not actually a church. It's like the back office, right? And so it would really only be expenses. So you'll see a statement of activities for that. And then you'll see each individual campus. So I've got put in here 3 campuses, but we have room for up to 5 in the model that will produce these individualized statement of activities. You can see here, so let's say you already have 2 campuses operating, and then maybe a third one that you're going to launch in the future. And so, yeah, we're going to walk through how to fill that out. You're going to get a consolidated statement of cash flows as well, and a consolidated statement of financial position. That's what's typically called in nonprofit speak. It also may be called a balance sheet. And so you'll get that on an annual basis for the consolidated church, as well as a statement of activities for each of the 5 years broken down by month. And this again is at a consolidated level. So the only breakdown you're going to get for each individual campus is going to be on this tab here, where you're going to get the annual breakdown. Okay, so we're not going into monthly level statement of activities for each campus. So just keep that in mind. If that's something that's important to you, you can always reach out. We could likely customize something for you if that was important to you. So, okay, so that's kind of the output. Those are the financial statement outputs. Let's talk about how to fill the template out. So this is our input assumptions tab. And so we're gonna set a projection start year of 2025. We're gonna set our current month. And you can set things like, this is gonna not be relevant for most churches, but accounts receivable and inventory. Now, I suppose if you operate like a coffee shop or something outside or out of the church, or maybe a daycare in the church, you could potentially have accounts receivable, you could potentially have inventory. So we've left this in here, but it probably just needs to be left at 0. And then accounts payable, this is your bills. So what you have outstanding and bills to pay, or accounts payable, you'd want to put that balance in here. And then this number of days payables outstanding, this just means how many days do you typically wait before you pay your outstanding bills. You can put the amount of cash that you currently have in the bank. So we've got $1 million in the bank here. And then again, this paid in capital as an investment is probably not really relevant for most churches, but sometimes there's maybe an initial donation that you kind of want to capture in this spot. So that's also possible to put in there. We can enter in our existing fixed assets. So this could be things like land and maybe the building for Campus 1 and the building for Campus 2. We can put in the value of those assets and the kind of life expectancy of them. So a lot of times they just use 30 years for that. And that means these buildings will depreciate them in the financial statements over that useful life, over that 30 years. You can also put in computer and office equipment, vehicles, worship equipment. You could always put this in by campus if you wanted to. So that's how that would work. And then let's say we're building projections maybe because we're trying to get a loan for our third campus, perhaps. And so we've got a projection here for a couple different things. Let's say first in January 1st of 2026, we want to do a renovation to maybe our original campus. So Campus 1 is going to get a renovation of $1 million or maybe an addition. So we have that input here. And then let's say we're going to have a new building here in January of 2027 for $6 million. Now we're going to put in our current loans. Let's say we have current loans for both Campus 1 and Campus 2. With outstanding loan balances, you can put in the interest rate and the number of months remaining on that term. And then we can put in our future proposed loan of $5.5 million here for January 1st, 2027 for that third campus that we're projecting here. So now let's get to the revenue or the income. And the way we have this broken down to try to keep things simple in this template is we give you two funds, a general fund and a building fund. We realize that churches have lots of different funds, but for the sake of simplicity here, we'd say, kind of put everything into either the general fund or the building fund in the case of this model. So we can put in our different campuses. So we've got Campus 1, 2, and 3. Can put in our average weekly attendance along with our expected annual growth rate in attendance. We can also set a maximum capacity. So we could say, all right, Campus 1, is currently at 1,000. It's going to grow 10% a year, and it actually has capacity of 4,000 because we can do, 3 different services or something like that, right? So you can set your capacity. And with Campus 3, so for example, with Campus 3, what we're saying is now this campus isn't going to start here until month 37. So year 3 in the model, or actually beginning of year 4, I should say, of the model. And you'll have 300 kind of starting attendance with a faster growth rate since it's a new campus. So 50% annual growth rate, hitting that maximum capacity of 1,000. Then we can set our average giving per attender. So maybe Campus 1 is the most kind of stabilized and financially steady. And so maybe it has a higher giving per attender. So maybe it's $45 per attender per week. So this is a per week number. I should just put that in there. And then we can set an annual growth rate here as well. And then this is, again, the average giving per attender for the building fund. So here we're looking at the building fund and what we want to do here. So if you select from this drop down, if we leave it as year round, this means that every week the average attender is going to give, $15 towards the building fund. But let's say you actually do like a once a year, 1 month a year, you do a big push for building fund giving, perhaps. Maybe it's in December. And so you do have the option to select a month. So let's just select this month, and we're going to say, okay, it's going to be once every December. And the giving is just going to be, this is the one-time giving, okay? So if we come out here, we're going to say, okay, it's going to be, $50 per member one time in the month of December. And we can set that assumption now. And so if we were to come down here, we'd see our predicted building fund giving here just in the month of December showing up just for the 2 campuses that are open in the first year. And then in future years, we would see that start to come online for the 3rd campus in the month of December as well. So that's a feature of how that could work if you want to do one-time giving for the building fund. Okay, so that, based on those assumptions, then this will project out what your general fund giving should be by campus as well as consolidated as well as the building fund giving. Now on the expense side, and we've got some default data entered in here, but you'll be able to make adjustments to this and really put in whatever kind of expense categories you'd want. So you might want to start up here by setting your operating expense category. So we've got 4 categories here in this example, but you can add up to 15. And then you can put the specific expense line items here. And then you will select from a drop down Central, Campus 1, 2, or 3. So we're always going to have Central in there as an option. So Central would be, if you do have like a central office, or maybe it's the first campus's office, but this is expenses and for folks that are working on kind of the church as a whole that you don't want to attribute specifically to an individual campus. And so that's what you'd want to put in this initial section. You can put in, facilities and maintenance expense if Central has its own, office building, for example. And then you could have ministry expenses and outreach expenses at a central level that Central's paying for. Okay, then we can do the same kind of exercise here for Campus 1. So for Campus 1, we're going to have a set of expenses. Some things may not be relevant, like rent may not be relevant for Campus 1, right, because it owns the building. But maybe we had rent up here for, maybe Central rents an office, for example. And then Campus 2 and Campus 3, we have entered in here as well. Now, let's say, Campus 3, I just wanted to show you, we have some default data in here, but Campus 3 isn't opening until month 37. So what you'd want to do is you'd want to remove these expenses in this scenario until you get out to, looking at month 37 in the model. And then you could start to fill in those expenses, okay? So you'd be looking way out here in month 37, okay? Or maybe there's some expenses that happen before you open, surely, right? So leading up to maybe there's even 12 months worth of expenses leading up to the launch of the church, right? So you can set those expenses accordingly, but I want to point that out. And you can overwrite any of these expenses, so you can just put in, these are all blue cells, so you can put in a specific number that you expect that expense to be for that particular month for that expense line item in campus. Now on our input salaries tab, we can also set individual employees, can set what campus they are attributed to, as well as their starting salary, employer taxes, benefits, annual benefits, what month that position is starting. So you can see, for example, some of these Campus 3 positions, we have starting in month 30, because they're not going to be open yet. And then what month they're ending, we just have it go to month 60. That's the end of the 5-year model. You can set the number of this particular type of employee. So for example, if you had, let's say you had two associate pastors, and you wanted to and their salaries were the same, and you just wanted to put them on the same line to save space, you could put 2 here, and it would just double up that particular line item. And then you can set an annual raise for each position here as well. Okay, so that is really it. That gets us back to our at a glance tab here and then the various financial statements. So again, if you need help customizing this, filling this out for your specific situation, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Support@projectionhub.com is the best way to email us. And then feel free to also leave a comment in the comment section of the video below, and we'd be happy to answer those questions there as well. We hope that's been helpful. And as I promised, since you stuck around to the very end, we did put a link in the description of the video below to a form that you can fill out. If you fill out this form, you're going to get emailed our most up-to-date discount code. So you'll be able to take that discount code and use it during checkout to get a discount on this particular template. So we hope that's been helpful, and we hope you have a good day. You have a good day.